Hi, today we're going to be talking about ectoderms, which is starfish, sea urchins, sea cucumbers, and sand dollars. We're only going to cover about 3 of those today. You have some very short videos to watch. You will have questions at the end that you can answer. And then tomorrow we're going to do sand dollars and a crossword puzzle, which of course I will get to you also. All right, here we go. Yeah, yes. All right. All right, this is a really bad joke, okay? How did the starfish and the sea urchin pay for their lunch? With a sand dollar. Okay? All right? Now, all those animals are in the same family, okay? They're in the echinoderm, okay, which is 2 Greek words. One means spiny, and derma means skin. Thus, that word means spiny skin. I'm going to move this up to here. Maybe you can see me a little better. Okay? All right. Not that you won't see me, but, you know. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah, up here. The animals in this group includes sea cucumbers, sea urchins, and sand dollars, and starfish, which is more properly called sea stars. Okay?
Hey, can you do that for just a second?
Okay? Now, I'll try to do it just a little at a time so you have time to write stuff down. The sea stars are found all over the ocean. Okay? They can be as small as your pinky finger, okay? Or they can be 3 feet across. Okay, you don't usually find those laying on the beach. Okay. Most of these guys will have 5 arms. Okay. And the arms are called rays. R-A-Y-S. Just like in a math. Yeah, math problem or sunshine or whatever, they're called rays, okay? They radiate out from the central disc, as you can see on the one that I handed you. This one is missing an arm, obviously, but this is the central disc, and these are the rays that comes out from him. Okay? If a starfish has more than 5 rays, it will often have rays in multiples of 5. So it doesn't mean that you won't find one that has 6, but a lot of times if you find one that's got more than 5, he will have 10 or 15 or 20 or even 25.
30.
Okay, that's when you get the big one. This guy would not have 25 arms, you know, one this size, obviously. Okay, but those big ones can have multiple of 5 arms. Okay, that's pretty good. We don't think about that. Okay.
I never knew that.
Okay. They found one sea star that actually had 30 rays on it.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Like,
So,
was it central disc like this big?
yeah, he was probably pretty big. He was probably pretty big to have 30 rays on him. I would imagine he's pretty good
The
size.
biggest starfish in the world.
Okay.
These are in the world.
Okay. Okay. I'll try to do it a paragraph at a time so you guys can have time to copy down notes and things. Now, on the bottom, okay, on the bottom of the central disc, as you've got in front of you, the little holes right here is his mouth. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. This is his mouth right there. Okay? Okay? Interesting enough, when he eats, the starfish does not use his mouth the way that you and I do. You know, we put food in, we chew it up really good, we swallow it, it goes into our tummies, and then it starts to break, our tummies then starts to break down the food because our stomach has all the acid and stuff in there, and it starts to break down our food and digest it, okay?
Wait,
This guy does it a little bit differently. He actually, when he eats, his stomach comes out of his mouth and engulfs his prey and starts breaking it down. He starts breaking it down and digesting it then.
What?
As he's eating it?
As he's eating. So his tummy actually comes up and wraps around the,
So it comes out of here?
and then he eats,
Wait, so
comes
it's
out of
an
his mouth.
This hole right
Comes out of
here.
his mouth.
So
Why is
his
it
stomach
stomach?
can expand very.
No, he doesn't expand real big. That's why he starts to break it down before he pours it back in.
His
Are
mouth
all the
expands.
sharp things on it?
Yeah.
Little things?
Yeah.
His mouth that expands.
It's nothing that really expands that much. He breaks it down before he pours it back in. He actually digests his food before he.
That's crazy.
Take
Like
it
with
in.
whales and these things, like they eat so weird.
They do eat weird. Okay? So,
Do they even taste that?
so again, the sea star's stomach actually goes out of its mouth to engulf the prey. And once the stomach has done that, he immediately begins digesting the helpless animal. So it starts breaking it down. We do it differently. We take the food in, we swallow, it goes into our stomach, and the stomach then starts breaking it down.
No, the stomach takes it.
His stomach comes out, engulfs the prey, and then starts breaking it down, and then he swallows it.
Poor fish.
Wait, so little live prey getting engulfed in acid and then
Pretty basically.
Underwater.
Pretty basically.
It's underwater though.
Okay? Pretty basically.
Acid
Okay.
and water.
All right. Talking about acid and stuff in our stomach and things of that nature. Car batteries. How many of you, your dad has ever gone out and messed? You've seen him messing under the hood, and he's got this greenish white stuff all on the battery around the cables.
that's corrosion.
That is corrosion. That stuff will eat through the copper wires that hooks the battery, that makes the battery work. It sends power to the car, the starter and all that, or the alternator and whatnot. That stuff will eat through that. Do you know the best way to clear it off?
More of it to eat itself.
No, a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, any carbonated drink. You take that and pour it on that
Does it do like this?
that corrosion. It will eat it away. It'll wash it away like it was never there.
Really?
And then we turn around and drink them and put them in our body. And they will eat away something that will eat away at copper wiring and just completely destroy it.
That's pretty cool.
But our stomach can handle that. So we're pretty remarkably made also.
I would exercise more.
Okay? Shh, hold up. Yes.
This is off topic, but the digestion process is really,
Well, then
really
you'll
simple because you don't have any nerves there. So, like, if we could feel that, like,
Yeah.
that would.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes.
The thing is like
Leo, you want to quit
That's-
talking to
that's-
Greg and pay attention to class?
that's how the Statue of Liberty is green.
It is. That's oxidation and all that. Yep. That copper has turned green because of oxidation.
Wait, so if you say, so they should just get like a 20,000-pound bucket of Coca-Cola and just dump it on the statue. Do you think, so would that
No, that's not corrosion. That's oxidation. Copper turns green when it's exposed
But
to
you
air.
don't just dump it on. You have to let it sit in it for a while.
so picture more later?
And probably feel like
You're not
a-
hearing what I'm saying, and we're
No,
not.
it's
That is so far off topic. All right. We're not talking about the Statue of Liberty and oxidation, okay? Oxidation is different than corrosion. Okay, that's completely different. Okay, it's two different things. Yes.
Don't you have to like lay it or like pour it or like drop it in Coca-Cola
No.
or let it sit?
I just pour it on it. It'll eat corrosion right off. Then you take a rag and wipe it up. I mean, you don't want to just leave Coca-Cola laying on the battery and all. All right. Now, sea stars also do not have eyes like you and me. Instead, at the end The very tippy end. Tippy. You can't see it because I can't see it, and I'm just holding it in my hand. Each arm has an eye spot, which are the only, which are only able to tell light from dark. Why do you think something without eyes, he can't actually see, but he can see light and dark? Why do you think it's important for him to be able to tell the difference in light and dark? What do you think, Spears?
If he's like in the water, or he's trying, like if a dark thing passes over him, that might be trying to eat him.
Like the shadow.
Or
Okay.
if he's in the light, he would get away from that because that can dry out.
Yeah, is that, that's not bad. Is so he will know up and down. I mean, that's it. The deeper he goes, the darker it gets. If he's coming to the surface, it gets lighter. So he knows which way he's going, basically.
How does he know, like, somebody's on him?
Okay? You got- you
Like,
get- you
if,
get
like,
eight.
somebody's on him.
Okay? So,
Think you know-
an eye spot is usually colored differently, okay, from the rest of the ray, and it's generally at the very, very tip. Okay, so if you look at the one you've got, it's at the very, very tip of his arm, of the ray. Okay?
I see it.
Because sea stars feast on huge numbers of clams in the ocean. People who gather clams for a living have tried for years to get rid of them. In order to kill them, when they would pull them up, what they would do is they would take these clam fishermen, would take their big knives, and they would cut them in half and throw them back into the water. And of course, I'm sorry guys, I'm teaching. You can raise your hand. Doesn't mean I got to stop teaching to call on you. Okay? Don't start interrupting me. That's just rude. Okay? Stop it. So they take them, they cut them in half, they threw them back into the water, and basically what they did now is they just created two sea stars.
Yeah.
Because they regenerate the other half, and they got two of them now.
Idiot.
Okay? Well, they didn't know. They're not idiots. They didn't know. So easy to sit in a classroom and call somebody an idiot when they have, goodness, people. Y'all got a hard life ahead of you. Y'all won't change your attitudes toward things.
You can take one. Wait. I have a question for the second one. If
How
you
long
can
does it take?
take one. If you took one starfish and put it into like 5 pieces, would you have like 10 starfish?
Well, it depends on what that. It will grow back its legs. If you cut it right down the middle, it will grow back half its body. Yes.
In my sea star, in its mouth, there's like something jiggling around, and
Yeah.
it looks like there's little tiny shells almost.
It might be. It might be something he was trying to eat. It could be where parts of him has broken off. Okay. I used to be able to break these out and show them to kids, and they were actually interested in them.
I like them.
Now they just make fun of it. We know everything there is to know. There's no sense in me even being here. It saddens me, to be honest with you.
Coach Size,
All right.
can you show me where the eye thing would be? The eye.
It is right on the very, very tip.
So is it like the white
Okay.
part?
Yeah,
Or is it
probably.
like hard to see?
You'll also notice if you flip him
He
over,
like raises up.
there's little hairs and things that runs up and down here. This is how he moves. Okay. All right. In the canal, these are really old. These are older than you. There is little hair follicles in here, and that is actually how he can move. Okay, he actually can move using those little things. It's like little tube feet, if you would. Okay. Okay, they refer to him as a tube feet.
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what else. Sea urchin. Yeah. When I was a kid, you guys probably have never. I don't know if y'all been exposed to it or not. When I was a kid, my grandmother and my mom did a lot of sewing by hand. Okay. did not have the sewing machines and all that. And they actually, they would make clothing. I mean, a lot of them they did it by hand. But they have these things called pin cushions. And that's exactly what it was. It was just it was a cushion type of thing. And they were usually pretty colorful. And the pins that you use to hem dresses and things had a big white head to them because they were easier to pull out and hold on to and all that than one.
What about some of those from Shein?
I'm sure, yeah. Well, they're still around. They're still around. Okay. But this little animal resembles a pin cushion because he will be red, green, purple, or other colors. The little ball-looking thing looks like the head of a pin that they would stick in the pin cushion. And they branch out in many different directions. They don't have arms. They are, however, covered in spines, which is kind of prickly, very sharp, almost like a porcupine, if you would. This one doesn't show it, but we'll watch some video that will, and he looks like has porcupine quills coming out of him. Yes.
If you by mistake stepped on one of them, would it really hurt?
Oh yeah, yeah, it would hurt.
Morning.
Yeah, it would hurt.
Is that a dog?
Okay. Under the spine of the sea urchin, you will find a rounded body, and when he dies, he loses the spines, the quills, if you would, and the roundness, and then he will just wash up on the beaches. But you'll probably never identify him as a sea urchin. It's okay to call it a shell, but it's really not anything like a shell that houses little animals and things. So scientists has called it, after it meets its demise and it is washed up on shore, it is known as a test. T-E-S-T. Same thing you take in school.
Oh no!
Yeah, that makes no sense.
What?
You're signed out.
Bro.
I'm going to have to drop down and verify it's me. How sad is that? They were working, I saw them out working on the road, so we'll probably lose the internet off and on for the next 2.5 weeks. All
That would be
right.
great. I mean, although.
That's not the
The
way.
Is that what we're learning about in history?
We're gonna say
I think we lost it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, we lost internet connection. I'm going to go back and find it. All right, here we go. All right, now, a sea urchin also has the little tube feet, okay, which he uses to move about slowly. The suction cup grips the rocks, so the sea urchin can pull itself along. Unlike sea stars, these tube feet are found in rows that actually expands from the top to the bottom. Okay? Again, Lord, I get it. You can stop. All right. Now, right here, I hope that you guys, when you go to on your beach trip next year, I hope that you come across one of these guys. We do quite often. Quite often you'll come across these guys because they will be washed up on the beach sometime. If you can come across one that's alive,
Can I pick it up?
oh, I would. I would pick it up and I would mess with it. Oh, I would poke it.
No.
Oh, don't hurt it, but you can kind of poke it, irritate it.
I've always been
Because when you first pick it up, he'll be kind of soft, pliable, if you would. But then
By the time
he will quickly start to stiffen up and make the outer shell hard for protection because he's under stress. And if you hold him in your hand and you poke at him enough, he becomes real interesting, and that's what we're going to talk about here. It's really quite amazing. He is shaped almost like a sausage. Okay, he can be found in the shallowest of the waters as well as out in the deep part of the ocean. They have a row of 5 tube feet that stretch the length of the body, and they use those feet to slowly move around. Okay. Of course, they're on the ocean floor. They're kind of crawling around the ocean floor. The mouth is at one end of the sea cucumber, and it usually has like little tentacles coming out from it. Not real long, but little tentacles coming out to help him grasp food. And what he does is he eats sand. Okay? Yeah, he eats sand. And the sand enters the mouth and moves through the sea cucumber's system, and the food particles are absorbed by the body and digested. Remember when we talked about sand? What did we say you will find in sand?
Animals.
Yeah, microscopic plants, animals, and all that we can't see,
What
but
about
they're
the
there.
sand?
So he eats them. That's what he eats.
What about the sand? Where does the sand go?
The sand is just digested.
You can actually digest sand.
You can too. Your body would digest, it's just not recommended, but you could eat. Little kids eat dirt. It goes right on through, just like everything else. You need a nickel, it'll go through too, but I don't recommend that either. So. Yes.
My mom's brother, he ate sand and then he ate a whole
Enchilada.
no, a whole
We're talking about cousins
piece
eating
of butter.
dirt. Okay.
What? Yeah.
All right. The sand enters his mouth.
Piece of butter.
Please stop. We're going to run out of time. Y'all not even going to get to see the videos. The other class is going to be way ahead of you. Really. Stop. Okay? The sand enters the mouth as it moves through the sea cucumber's system. Food particles are absorbed by the body and digested. One of the most fascinating things about this guy is when he is stressed.
Oh,
That's why you don't
They
want to
literally spilled their guts. Literally. Which means they, honest to goodness, spilled their guts. When you are poking with them, they will, when they get stressed, they will throw up their guts,
That would be funny.
which is incredibly sticky and slimy and gooey. And if a fish or something is trying to swallow it, it will seal the gills shut so that it can't breathe, or it will clog his throat so he can't swallow him, and it will kill the fish that is trying to eat him. He will actually grow back. He will regenerate all his guts in about 3 weeks.
What?
Okay?
6 weeks.
Okay, so it takes about 6 weeks for him to do that, and he will be fine. No damage is done. And I've got video. You'll have to wait till tomorrow to see it. But I got video of him doing this. Yes.
Yeah, so you definitely want to poke it. You definitely want to poke
Yeah.
it.
We've got one where we just show him doing it. We've got one where a guy picks it up, and you can see just how slimy it gets when this thing does indeed throw up on his hand.
Oh.
Pretty nasty.
Is
Yeah.
it over for this year?
like let's say a fish.
I'm gonna show you the videos
If a fish
that they
comes
would have
in and
watched
tries
today.
to eat
Bye.
him,